My lawn's asleep. It's the end of January, and it was 27 degrees yesterday. Dude, leave it alone. But I am going to cover some real important stuff over the next few minutes. I'm going to show you some cool stuff that's coming up for this year, and an important note about what you need to think about for the end of February, beginning of March. So hold on, here we go. Morning. So before we begin, every morning I basically have to come over here and stop at the farm project and check on everything that's going on. This is a complete renovation we've got going on. Up here we've got 10 acres of fields and vegetable gardens. We're going to be installing a brand new lawn back over here, but we're also this year we're keeping our Bermuda lawn through the initial growing season so I can help you guys. Before I begin, I want you to understand something. Years ago, we put up the lawn guides. We started with the Bermuda lawn guide, then we have a zoysia lawn guide, then we have a cool season lawn guide. Over 900,000 people have gone to those websites to use those sites because they have calendars, they have full information, they have product links, they have everything. And so many of you guys have emailed us or commented and said, Doc, I've been following your lawn guides and your calendars, and I have the best looking lawn in my neighborhood, and now people are stopping by my house to ask me what I'm doing on my lawn. So they work. Follow them. Here's the other important point about these guides. We don't ask for any of your email. We don't ask for any information. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to download an app, nothing. They're just websites that we establish that are up 365 days a year. Go to them on your phone or your computer and bookmark them. So anytime you have questions, you can go over to those and just look up. So if you have, all of a sudden you figure out you have grubs, you're going to figure out how to do it. What fertilizer should I do? What about pre-emergent? When should I put it down? There's calendars, there's guides, there's information. Everything is broken down. So please use those. So I'm coming up here to the upper fields, and yes, this still involves lawn care. For a reason, because you're going to want to hit that red subscribe button. Is it there?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it over here? I always forget. Because I'm getting ready to work on a pretty extensive video about a 4-year study that we've worked on, and then a couple universities, we pulled their information from it, and we're going to cover what I call the overall impact of soil and plants. And it kind of looks like a pie chart. And what we're going to do is we're going to break that apart for you to show you some of the things that you think are really important are not all that important, and some of the things that you don't really worry about are more important. And a lot of that has to do with the new regenerative farming that has been taken over for the past 15 years, where they basically reduce their fertilizers and improve their soil health. Because we're going to show you the importance of biodiversity. In other words, what makes up that pie chart? What plays an important role? Is carbon really important? Are nutrients really important? Mycorrhizal fungi, microbes, bacteria? What's important? Root systems? This will be a really interesting, because we're going to do this garden. We're not going to use any fertilizers whatsoever. Zero fertilizers on this garden up here, and it's going to produce so much produce that we have to give away. We'll probably give away most of it to some homeless shelters around here, plus all the neighbors. Okay, so I'm back over at the Bermuda lawn house, and I'm going to pop back over in the corner here, and we're going to talk about pre-emergence and what's going to happen the end of February and into March. But there's a warning here. If you have brand new sod that hasn't had a full growing season, you really want to stay away from pre-emergence. If you have a brand new seeded area, probably stay away from pre-emergent. And why is that? I want you to understand how pre-emergent works. People get confused all the time. People think that pre-emergent stops seeds from germinating. That's not what they do. Pre-emergent stops cell replication. So when you want your seed to germinate, you want that seed to germinate, but when it germinates, it can't grow roots. Cell replication, cell growth, it can't grow roots, so it dies. That's what pre-emergent does. You understand that? So many people make the mistake of thinking that pre-emergent stops seeds from germinating. You want the seed to germinate, but what you want is you want the root growth to stop so it'll die. So that's why if you have a new sod, you want to be gentle with your pre-emergents or not use them at all for the first year or at least a full growing cycle. Got it? So let me go back here and we'll talk about pre-emergents real quick. Real quick, I want to pop in here because I had a couple of questions from people. They were talking about combination products like weed and feed or pre-emergent and fertilizer. And it was funny because last year I was joking with someone that actually is in the business, in the industry, and they call those dumbed down products. What are dumbed down products? Dumbed down products are products that are combination. So a weed and feed or a pre-emergent and fertilizer all in one. You can never get a proper pre-emergent treatment in that kind of formula. You can never get really good effects as far as weed killing when you do that combination stuff. It just doesn't work well. So why do they make them? Why even Anderson's? A company like Anderson's makes a weed and feed product or combination products. It's because it's such a big part of the industry. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, or if you go to Walmart, what are you going to see? You're going to see a weed and feed. It's hard to find regular fertilizer. You'll never see a golf course professional, turf professional, sporting field professional. You'll never see them use a combination product. They're always going to focus on one thing. So if I'm time to put out my pre-emergent, they're going to put out a pre-emergent. If it's time to fertilize, they're going to put out a fertilizer. You'll never see them use a combination product. Again, we call those dumbed down products, and I would avoid them. So let's talk more. A couple of mistakes that people make with pre-emergent real quick is number one, not applying it heavy enough. You want to read the label and get a full application down with your pre-emergent. Don't skimp. Don't skimp on areas, I don't want to get it into my garden. Put it down heavy. Number two, put it down when the soil is dry. Let me say this again. Now, I've stressed this in a huge amount in the last video. You put down pre-emergent on a dry soil, and then when the rain comes in, the first thing to go into the soil is what? That first little bit of rain and the pre-emergent. If you put pre-emergent on a soil, especially clay soils that are saturated, and you put out a pre-emergent, what's going to happen? The water will not go into the soil because it's already saturated, and your pre-emergent will run off. So those are the biggest mistakes I see. It really isn't even timing, because pre-emergents can last anywhere from 40 to 90 days. It really comes down to that temperature. You got to wait for a good 3 or 4 day period where you've got sun, everything's drying out, and that soil is dry, then put it down at that point. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions about what's going on with this property and the farm property and all that kind of stuff, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But I want you to understand something. There are really 3 basic things that we're going to do. We're going to get ready for coming up. Matter of fact, right after this video, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start ordering some product. What are those things? We're going to look for our soil temperature. So our soil temperature, in the description below, I'll link to that page, and there'll be a soil temperature map there. But when your soil temperature starts to get up around 53 degrees is what they say, that's when you want to put down your pre-emergent. In my area, that's around March 15th. However, what I've been telling people for years is come out about 2 weeks before they tell you. And what are you going to put down? You're going to put down your granular pre-emergent, and you're going to put down PGF balance. I'll explain the balance in a second. So we put down our initial pre-emergent early, and then what we do in about 4 weeks after that, we come back with our liquid product, which is a different product. The liquid actually has some post-killing effects on your crabgrass. So if you miss any, it's going to come back and kill it. Doing that program, doing that split treatment, I've been doing this for years, and I don't have a single piece of crabgrass on my lawn. I don't have a single weed on my lawn, and I don't have to use any weed killers during the summer. I just don't have weeds. It's the perfect program for that. Okay, so again, soil, it's going to vary from where you are. Depending on it, you have to go get the calendar and adjust the calendar. We're in middle North Georgia, so you have to adjust that calendar a little bit. But the soil temperature maps you're going to see. Here's another little trick too, just by the way. On soil temperatures, I thought I'd throw this in there. If the high for the day is 60 and the low is 40, what's your soil temperature going to be? Well, you put those two together and divide that in half, and 50 degrees is going to be your soil temperature. That's a little trick. So you can take the high and the low for 7 days, add those together, divide that by 7, and you'll pretty come close to what your soil temperature is. So it's just that constant high and low. And what's the median? That's your soil temperature. Just a little trick in case you want to know. Why are we putting out PGF balance at the same time we're putting out a pre-emergent? Because the one rule that I like to follow is we do not push our lawns real early. A lot of people think that they say want to come out and push it and have a green lawn first. I always have the only green lawn in my neighborhood, and I don't push my lawn. I'm going to come out with a light coat of PGF balance. Now, PGF balance, all this stuff is linked on the page below, the pre-emergence, the balance, everything. The PGF balance is a 10-10-10 all fast release that we had developed through the Andersons. That is a superfine particle all fast release. And what we're doing is we're putting down a very small amount of nutrients so that when our Bermuda lawn wakes up naturally, it wakes up slowly and naturally and it has a little bit of nutrients. We're not going to be pushing our lawns until our temperatures start to go up. You never want to push your lawn early. You never want to try and get ahead of everybody. Your lawn will do it naturally. If you just give it a little bit of nutrients, which have been depleted over the entire winter, a little bit of PGF balance, go ahead and scalp it down when you think it's time to scalp, and you're going to have the greenest, you're going to have the most gorgeous lawn before anybody else. Trust me, we've done this for years. So I hope this video has helped you guys understand that the initial steps we're going to take on our lawn to actually get it going. We actually call this the Jumpstart program. Not that we're rushing our lawn, but we're just putting down that little bit of nutrients. We're getting the pre-emergent down, and everything will be fine. Just go to the lawn guide, get the calendars, and you'll be right on track, and I'll walk you through this whole process. We're going to get this Bermuda lawn looking fantastic. This spring is going to be amazing. We're going to keep it really short, get it really green. It's going to be cool. Plus, we'll be putting in a new lawn over at the farm project, so hold on. It's going to be a busy year. Doc.